Hello and welcome to Future Perfect Tech Shorts. I'm Tony Velasquez. The power distribution company Meralco recently held its second Technology and Innovation Summit, dubbed MTECH 2016. Speakers at the three-day event covered topics ranging from energy management to new opportunities for Meralco's distribution business. And we'll find out more about the highlights of the MTECH 2016 Summit from our guest, Gavin Barfield, the Chief Technology Advisor of Meralco. Gavin, how have you been?
Very good. It's been a year already, Tony.
I know, it's been a year since the first MTECH Summit.
Speeds through.
Yeah, I know. And soon it'll be Christmas.
That's right.
MTECH Christmas.
We could do that, I'm sure.
Probably, yeah. But more electric consumption because of all the Christmas lights.
We noticed that they were being put up in our business centers today, which is...
Filipinos like to get a head start
right.
on Christmas. Once the bear months come in, it's Christmas. Well, speaking about electric consumption, MTECH usually talks about efficient energy management, and that's just not for households, but for businesses as well.
That's right. Well, the subject of MTECH this year was moving forward never stops.
Moving forward
that
never
was
stops.
the tagline, because last year we looked really at our technology vision, and this year it was to try to show how we are taking firm steps into achieving that vision. And as you said, energy efficiency is one key element. So the focus this year was really around the customer and around the digital platforms that we'll be rolling out to help customers manage their energy consumption better.
First of all, when was the actual summit held?
It was last week, so I'm just still recovering from a very busy week. We had 3 days of an exhibit going on in the lobby, and then the forum was on the Friday.
Okay. And who were the exhibitors at the event?
We had lots. We had Lenovo was there. We had Pacific Power was there. Dell was there. Many companies were exhibiting. We also had this smart home exhibit, because what we're trying to look at now is the home of the future and how Meralco can be more than just an energy supplier.
Okay.
How it can be part of your home living. So that included all these whizzy gadgets for home automation and various other stuff.
Are these the kind of automation that's already available for households?
It's
here
available
in the Philippines?
Well, not so much in the Philippines. A lot of the stuff we had is available more in the US and Europe. You can sort of retrofit your house. You can use these smart plugs to plug into existing appliances, and then this logic is starting to be built into appliances now. But for Meralco, the automation is good fun, but it's really being able to understand how much individual appliances are using, and then we can give you targeted energy tips on how you can save.
So these are actually to monitor the consumption of each individual appliance.
That's right. Well, the smart meters which we're trying to roll out will give you hourly consumption, so it will tell you per hour, but you still don't know exactly what's been using electricity during that hour.
Yeah.
And then the idea is if we fit these appliances, say to a refrigerator, then each month we could say, actually last month your refrigerator was using 10% less power than this month.
Right.
So maybe you should be defrosting it. So it's a sort of targeted energy tips instead of that general, switch off your lights when you leave the house sort of thing.
Yeah, because I remember, when we first had you over on the show, and we were talking about how Meralco is already shifting to the digital sphere of how it runs the distribution business. And now you have these smart meters who will actually tell you the consumption for each individual appliance. So I guess it takes off from the model of, say, a smartphone.
That's right.
Where your OS can actually monitor how each app is using up your battery or your memory.
That's right. Yeah. So we've got a regulatory approval now to roll out another 100,000. So that means we should have about 140,000 smart meters out in the next 12 months. So that's going to be a good step on the road. But we hope to hit 6 million customers this year. So there's a long road to go in order to get them out to every customer. But what it will allow you to do is really see this level of granularity. And if you think about it, if you were to get a shopping list for your bill at the supermarket that just gave you one single amount without knowing how you accumulated that, you wouldn't be happy. And it's the same with electricity.
So how near in the future can we see a typical Filipino household with that kind of ability to monitor individual consumption per appliance?
Well, we want to try and roll out some idea of the smart home relatively soon, towards next year, starting to allow people to put appliances and build in the infrastructure.
So in the home first of Manny Pangilinan?
He might be. I'll test it in my home first before I give it to the boss. I will give it to mine. Once it's working, then I'll ask MVP to install it. But the smart meters is a long journey. But we really hope within the next, say, 5 or 6 years, we can at least get to the 3 or 4 million stage and start really rolling these out. And it's not just for customers. It's very useful for us to monitor the grid. So by having that knowledge down to the household level, we can be much more targeted when it comes to network maintenance and understanding what the reason of a fault may be.
So I guess it's also one of the goals of MTECH 2016 to actually see how much more efficient grid management can become by applying digital technology.
That's right, and part of our smart grid journey is our advanced network automation, which is how do we put all of these sensors and automatic switches onto our network. And in fact, we're very busy at the moment because in the next month or so, we want to roll out the first phase of what I described last year, which is our advanced distribution management system. So that's this very complicated system.
Let me see if I remember it. If there's a particular area that experiences a power interruption, then the guys in Meralco will automatically know where to dispatch
That's right.
an emergency crew.
Yes, it gives you more level of details, and then later next year we roll out the distribution management system so it can reroute power around the network to minimize the outage. So it can do all these complicated calculations to work out what the optimum switching mechanism is.
Sounds just like Star Trek.
It is, but it's
Do you watch Star
pretty
Trek?
complicated. No, I'm not into
You're
science
not a
fiction,
Trekkie?
which is very strange in my industry that I'm not
science
into
fiction
it.
geek.
No, that's
But
very
you know, in
unusual.
Star Trek, every time they have a problem in the spaceship, you know the name of the spaceship, right?
Not really.
You don't even know the name
No,
of the
you don't
spaceship.
test me on Star Wars or Star Trek.
Oh, you're in Star Wars, all right. Well, on the spaceship in Enterprise,
Okay, that's right, yeah.
every time they have a problem, it's like the captain always says, reroute power from somewhere, and divert it to propulsion, whatever. So it's like that.
We
If you
should
have a
do that.
problem with electric supply, you can reroute power to somewhere else.
We'll have to get the setup in our control room with a big swivel chair and
Oh, that big screen. And the bald captain. Correct. So, in essence, when you hold these summits and you invite a lot of these companies to come over, are all these technologies going to converge in a way to actually help the consumer make power consumption more efficient, more economical?
Yes, I mean, that's really, and that was the emphasis of this year's summit, to really look at what we're doing for the customer. And one thing we announced, following on from what I discussed last year, was the launching of our customer platform, which is now in its development stage, and we hope to roll that out next year. So that's to recognize really that customers' habits are changing. Customers are digital these days, so everything is on your mobile, everything is done on the web. So how do we open up the channels to the customer to allow them to interact with us electronically? And that's a project that we'll be working on over the next 6 to 8 months. And then, hopefully we can, we've identified these 4 journeys. It's how you join, how you pay, how you make a complaint, and how you get notified of an outage or a problem. And we want to digitalize all these journeys, so your interaction with us is electronic.
So everything can be done, say, via mobile app.
That's the idea, via the mobile app or via the website, and then being very proactive when it comes to informing customers if there's a problem. So once if you share your contact details with us, then we can inform you if there's an outage, we can inform you when the problem will be resolved, we can give you consumption information. So instead of it being, one way you coming to us, we can start giving information out to customers more efficiently.
Well, what is the feedback that Meralco receives so far about these kinds of initiatives?
Well, we launched, we sort of went quite active on Facebook and Twitter a couple of years ago, and we've seen a big rise in the number of people who look to Twitter and look for Facebook for getting information on outages or interact with us. And that's becoming more and more prevalent. So you
like customer complaints?
Well, people post complaints, or they'll come along and ask questions to us on Facebook, or they'll just appreciate on Twitter we announce when there's outages or where there's issues. But that's just a one-way communication. You want to be a bit more proactive and targeted to individual customers to tell people, this is in your area and this is a particular problem. And then, allow them to interact with us using these new channels, because that's the way people work these days.
Sure. I wonder what happened. I'll take a specific incident. Remember there was this odd tornado.
Yes.
That actually swept through parts of Manila, and I suppose that actually caused a widespread power interruption there. So how did Meralco react to that?
Well, we had, I saw the video of that. It was quite interesting to see. I mean, these things do happen. Of course, we're in an area that is prone to heavy and severe weather, so we'll always have these issues. Something like the ADMS would really be very useful there, because by allowing you to see exactly where the problem is, right down to the distribution transformer level, when Meralco dispatches a crew, we know whether to send a small truck, a big truck, whether we need to replace a transformer, or exactly where the situation is. So it should allow us to be far more targeted on sending the right crew to solve the problem.
The idea of having a smart home might be far-fetched for a lot of Filipinos who probably don't see the need for it, especially since there are other expenses that they may need to maintain their own households. So how can it become a little bit more feasible and even more attractive for the ordinary Filipino homeowner?
Well, we're in early days, and I think this is still technology which is evolving. Eventually, I expect within the next 5 years or so, these things will be embedded into appliances, so you won't notice it. Appliances will become smart. In the meantime, we hope that...
Is this the Internet of Things?
Yeah, the Internet of Things, or even another one which is coming up, which is the Internet of Energy, which is energy-related products which are all able to interact to find out the cost of power and make decisions based on the cost of power during the day. But I think if we can roll out something simple like the smart plug idea, they're relatively affordable for people to be able to install in their home, and we hope that the energy consumption information they'll get will allow them to save and so recoup some of the expensive investment.
Yeah. Well, speaking of energy, it's like you need time to restore your own energy after the MTECH summit.
It was quite a week, I have to admit. I got home on Friday and collapsed for the entire long weekend. So.
All right. That means that Gavin has to regenerate. That's another Star Trek.
Recharge.
That's another Star Trek.
Okay, I'll go and watch it now when I get home.
You must. It's the 50th year anniversary of Star Trek.
Okay, I promise you.
A lot of stuff coming out of Star Trek, probably in Meralco. Gavin Barfield, thank you very much. Happy to see you again.
Thank you, Tony. Good to see you.
And we're